See, you know your information.
I gotta know my stuff, and I'm only 21. So when I was like 3 and 2 years old, I mean, my mom would used to just turn on BT when Donnie Simpson Video Vibe was on. Like, don't bother me, I'm at work. You know what I mean? I would sit down Indian style. Same thing with Soul Train. Sit down Indian style and just be like, shh, video soul's on. Don't disturb me unless a commercial comes on. And like my aunt and them, they used to tape it, and I would just watch the old tapes religiously until I hit the rewind button in the tape rewound back to the end and just be like, wow, and I just couldn't get enough of it.
Wow. So see, you're the type of person that I really like because you are into this. I mean, that's how I was. If I could get into radio, I remember wanting to get inside a radio station. I would sweep it. I would answer the phones. I would do the mail. Just let me in if I can get my foot in the door. And I see you're doing that, so you're going to do real well.
Well, I appreciate it, Mr. Jones. Coming from somebody that's been in the business for a long time, and me being in this business for 3.5 years, be 3 years in September. It's definitely humbling.
No, you have to get those accolades, because one of the things that I miss as being a professional, being here for almost 30 years, you kind of miss that whole thing of being new to something and just being wide-eyed and just trying to absorb it all. And that's a type of energy that I think everybody wants to be able to keep, especially in this business. You always want to be hungry. You always want to learn new things, because if you think you know everything, that's when you know that you're on your decline. Mm-hmm. So I like the energy, and I kind of see some of myself in you. So, maybe it's a little selfish, too.
Yeah. Now, how did the nickname Unseen VJ become about?
Oh, that's interesting. One day a lady wrote a letter, and she wanted to know why I was unseen. And I thought about there was a show called The Gong Show, and they had this guy who had a paper bag over his head, and he was called the Unseen Comic. So I just started calling myself the Unseen DJ. And it kind of hit, because it was interesting is that celebrities would come in, and first thing they would want to do is to meet me. Who's this Unseen DJ guy? Who's this guy that we never see, the Unseen DJ? And what's his name? MC Hammer did not Hammer, don't hurt him, but the song, Have You Seen It? The last line is, searching high and low, what more can I say? The girl's hard to see like the Unseen DJ. Mm-hmm. And that was fun, because most people get on television to be seen, whereas I was on television and nobody saw my face.
Right, and I just saw your face just recently when I went to your website. Like I think I first went to it like a year or two ago, and I'm like, wow, I finally get to see what this guys look like, because you're like one of the mysteries in the business. Because this was before I went to Walt Baby Love website. I was listening to the countdown on the regular, and I never seen his face. When I finally saw his face, I'm like, the face and the voice don't match, but hey, I finally get to see what he looks like.
Oh, yeah, Walt Baby Love. Have you ever seen Lee Bailey?
Who is Lee Bailey? I'm not too familiar with him.
Bailey used to do a show called Telling It Like It Was and a couple other things, but Lee Bailey is one of those voices like Walt Baby Love.
Okay.
Lee has electronic urban radio. It's like EUR.com.
Okay.
And if you can check that out. But folks, if you want to see what I look like now, if you go to MySpace.com/Alvin Jones, and we're actually working on the website for AlvinJones.com. We've got some pictures and stuff on that also. And the show that I'm working on, Planet Jazz, will be planetjazz.tv. So all those things are, matter of fact, I just had dinner last night with my web designer, so we're going to redo all of that stuff and make it large. Okay,
now what was your thought on when New Edition was pretty much doing their thing from 83 on up to the solo period with BBD, Ralph Tresvant, Johnny Gill? Because they were pretty much like the golden standard, and they were pretty much on BET on the regular.
Yeah, BET and New Edition had a very good relationship. What we liked, and I remember when we first started, we played Is This the End, and She Gives Me a Bang, and all those videos, and Candy Girl. And even when they started doing, and their videos got better, and the production for them got better, for like Cool It Now, Count Me Out. The thing about New Edition was they were young black men. They were fun. They were clean cut. The girls liked them, and the guys wanted to be like them. they were like the Temptations of their era, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely were, and still you can feel it to this day. You know, every R&B pop group are pattern themselves after New Edition. And of course, Michael Bivins, who is now currently serving as in charge of artist development for Making the Band 4 with P. Diddy. So it just goes to show you that it's 20 plus years in the game, about to be 25 since Candy Girl, that they're still going strong.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to tell you the story that Maurice told me about New Edition. Maurice had this idea he was going to do another Jackson 5. And every record label he went to, he started with the A's, from Atlantic down to Warner. They're like, get out of here. You don't know what you're talking about. The other Jackson 5, you're crazy. Now, Maurice's real name is Larry Curtis Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And his brother's Michael Johnson.
Johnson Crew.
Right.
Pat Jam. Pat Jam.
Exactly. So he was on Streetwise with Arthur Baker out of Boston. So Arthur signed New Edition. The album went platinum. And guess what? All of the record companies that did not want to sign New Edition went after them to get them to leave Maurice. And they gave them like $100,000, and they left and go to MCA. And what was interesting, Maurice sued to get the name, and he couldn't. Now, New Edition, they didn't have the name New Edition at the time, and at the time that Maurice met them, Ron DeVoe wasn't in the group either. When it happened, they were in the local showcase that Maurice was doing, and they actually didn't win. But Maurice liked them, so they had a chance. So, Maurice goes to court, loses them, and Maurice told me he didn't get out of bed for like six to 8 weeks.
Wow.
He was just so depressed. So he said, you know what? Okay, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a new group. But instead of having the second generation of the Jackson 5, this time I'm going to do the Osmonds. So he said he started looking for kids, and he saw one kid sweeping up the floor in the floral shop, and he said, hey, do you sing? Do you dance? He says, no. He says, you ever thought about it? He says, well, not really. So Maurice gave him his card and said, here, give me a call. I'm putting together a group. He said, like 2-3 days later, the FBI came by his house and wanted to know why. And Maurice was a pretty large guy. Why the 6'3" black man who weighs about 275 pounds was giving his card out to a minor.